Nope, you're not going to. Click the links for Odysee and BitChute, or go to the other YouTube channel or sports channel. How gay is your government? You know, at this point, I'm ready to say, yeah, defund the police. Absolutely. Defund the police, the FBI, just close the borders, have elected sheriffs, and America just needs to figure itself out for like the next 100 years. Absolutely defund the police. We'll have militias, local militias, can patrol neighborhood by neighborhood, working with the elected sheriff, or not working with them, because, you know, hey, militias are your right. In case you're wondering at who attended the insurrection rally, yeah, that's about it. Now, you may have been completely unaware, as were all of us, completely unaware about about a rally today. The only thing we heard about this rally is people started to get a wisp of it, and it's like immediately, you know, it's not grassroots, it's not organic, it's what do you call it, plastic, artificial turf, astroturf, because it's not, you can trace back origins of things, and you go, well, who's throwing it, who's holding it, and you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, this is nobody, this is like, these are fake accounts, these are all fake. Either you can loosely combine FBI, ADL, SPLC with BuzzFeed, Slate, Salon, all the media. It's like the people who attend these events there's going to be a percentage of federal agents, just representatives of the state police, like federal agent type of thing. And then you're going to have the media undercover, and then you're going to have SPLC, ACLU undercover. It's like this, none of this is organic. The only thing we heard about this was, oh yeah, don't go. Don't attend. Even Trump, I think even Trump himself said don't go. So all these big accounts are saying, yeah, don't go. This is fake. This is complete gay ops, which is what it was. So an armed person was detained at J6 rally. Turns out to be an undercover agent. Pulls out badge. There was a heavy police presence. Yeah, on both sides of uniformed police and out of uniformed police. They made no effort when they're wearing these these are like 90s FBI agents. I would expect a little bit more tattoos, at least fake tattoos. I mean, they all had the high and tight hair. I mean, it was like a cliche FBI. Like, usually people know their business better than that, than to look literally like what they were, 35-year-old guys who work out and are pretty good shape. They were getting a little bit of a dad bod, but, you know, they're not actual protesters. Like the people who, the actual J6 was, you know, there were 70-year-old women there. Like, everyone was fat and out of shape, and like, yeah, that was organic. That was an organic, unarmed protest. So it turns out this protest is not organic, and the armed people, where there's police who are armed, and the federal agents and state agents who are concealed carrying, who somebody spotted a gun being printed on somebody's clothing, called the cops over, and turns out, oh, here, I'm a federal agent too. Yeah. Heavy police presence, because it was mostly police and press. Like, these guys are looking at each other and go, like, they know who they are, not by facial recognition, just by build and body type. And like, so does the press, so does everyone else. At some point you go, should we just not do this? Like, this is just going to be bad optics for us when it's all either press and FBI and that kind of stuff. So, supportive political prisoners. Yeah, America's in deep shit. You know what a real protest is? A few thousand guys showing up with rifles. Oh, but you can't carry a gun in Washington, D.C. Where does it say in the Constitution? The Constitution says you can keep and bear arms. Either you believe in the Constitution, or it turns out to be it's just a piece of paper. You can't disregard the Constitution when it doesn't apply. It's like, we've come pretty far from the right to keep and bear arms. Like, that's the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms. Either you have that right or you don't. And by acquiescing to restrictions on guns, well, then everything follows from that. You lose gun rights, which we've already lost on the coastal zones in Washington, D.C. I understand Washington, D.C. is a federal exemption, but say California and New Jersey, New York, it's like you should be able to keep and bear arms anywhere in the United States. The fact that you can't means that there's you can't, like, those aren't rights that ever should have been taken away. The country is in deep shit. Even, I think in 2011, California did the no more open carry. And the thing is, honestly, if you're even up to 2011, if you're openly carrying a firearm, the police are probably going to there's a good chance they might just murder you right then and there. You're like, that's not what the Founding Fathers envisioned. People who are having, guns on their hips. Like, that's what the Founding Fathers envisioned. This militarized police, this is not what the Founding Fathers envisioned. We've come so far from that the only way to fix it now is to separate into separate areas. This is insane. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way that we should have militarized police. But you get what you get. So, allegedly they're there to show support for the J6 political prisoners, who, I think some of them are still in prison now. The hundreds of nonviolent Trump supporters are currently in jail, awaiting trial for walking through the Capitol on January 6th. But this is all a setup, of course it was. There was more police reporters and undercover intelligence agents, in quotes, than protesters. The only armed person arrested was an undercover agent. A reporter, Fisher, caught the whole thing on video. Police surrounded a masked man who was armed with a firearm. The masked man told officers where his gun was and pulled out a badge. They just extracted him from the event. Yeah, he was undercover law enforcement. Turns out they're all undercover law enforcement. So this is clown world. You live in clown world where the FBI is the gayest. They're gayer than anyone in the Castro. If you're on the left or the right, you shouldn't want to live in a police state. And it's funny, like the left doesn't want to live in a police state either. But they're willing to live in a police state if they think that the police are on their side. It's like, it's insane. It's insane that we've come this far. When I say it's time to separate, I mean it literally. Yeah, they should take a few states for different identity groups, ideologies, or go back to a very strong states' rights doctrine where we're 50 independent states, where if California and New Jersey and New York don't want to have the Second Amendment, well, the thing is, it applies to all 50 states. But like you got to have, you can separate off into like Pacific Northwest regions, or we can't continue to go on like this where the Constitution is just being ignored because all that leads to is totalitarianism, authoritarianism. Or somebody said, like, if you can force people to take an experimental substance, there's no disease. Having the rubella or the mumps or something, losing people to a disease is not as dangerous as losing your rights, because you never get those rights back. Anyway, without civil war. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.